Hey everyone, so in this video what I'm going to be going over is how to model the master rod for the Radial Engine. And the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to show you how I do it step by step just by kind of clicking on these boxes here and showing you how I did it. And then later on I'll go back and I'll actually redo each and every single step. That way it can help you model it, because I know this piece is pretty difficult and it can be a pain if you don't really prepare beforehand. But either way, it's just going to take long. I mean, doing the entire thing will take long, or rather long, but you can definitely cut. Hopefully this can definitely help you cut down the time. So, like I said, I'll go through each of these step by step, just showing you what I did, and then I'll go ahead and I will redo every single step. So the first thing that I do is I draw like this simple looking sketch here, and it kind of resembles like this inner piece here. And there's reasons as to why I do all these, or as to why I do this first as opposed to like a bunch of other things. It makes things easier, I promise. And then I simply just extrude it. And then I draw another sketch here on the ZX plane to get a better view of it. I'm holding down the right mouse button, and I just drop down here and I let go, and that puts it in wireframe, in case you didn't know that. And I draw this sketch here, and then what I'm going to do here is I subtract it from this piece here that I first extruded. Then I draw my my third sketch, and this is the sketch that's well, the most difficult out of all the sketches that you have to draw for this piece. But it's really not that bad, I promise. And then from here, I pretty much, I catch my breath. From here, I pretty much just extrude it. And then I draw this inner sketch, which is like embedded in here, which is representative of this here. I subtract that out of this piece, and then I mirror all these things. So I mirror like this cut, I mirror like this like little pocket cut here, I mirror this piece here, and that's what I end up with so far. And then let's see, this sketch. What is this sketch? I think this sketch is just so it's just a circle. And then I go ahead and extrude that. I draw another circle here, extrude that, and make sure like when I'm extruding these, I'll show you like when I actually go through it all, but when I'm extruding these, I'm attaching these pieces to one another by uniting them, so make sure you do that. And then two simple holes, and then some edge blends. And that's pretty much, oh my god, what did I do? That's pretty much the gist of it. So I guess I can just pretty much delete all this and then start from scratch. Okay, so the first thing that you should end up with when you open up a new file is just the datum, just the coordinate system here. And the first thing you're going to want to do is make that sketch that I have at the bottom. So if you watch kind of how I do it, it makes things a little bit easier. But depending on how you want to do it, I mean, you could do it however which way. But as long as you end up with the same result, that should be fine. So I start with the circle here. I don't put any dimensions on now, mainly because I know I will, once I draw this out, I can change them later on. So all I'm drawing is just a few lines here. And then the last thing I'll draw here is a circle. First thing I want to do is go into my constraints and get some things aligned here. So I want this circle to be in line with this x-axis here, and so it is. Next thing I want is to make something symmetric about each other. So I want this line and this line symmetric about the x-axis, as well as this line and this line. These arrows that came up a little earlier, they do matter. So you can't select like this line with this arrow over here and this line with this arrow over here. It'll mess things up, but if you haven't figured that out already. And this is where my handy trim tool comes in. You could just hit T on the keyboard and that'll bring it up too. So I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need this, I don't need this, or this. And now is about the time where I could just add dimensions. So I think this here had a, let's see, what is going on? Okay, I think this had a diameter of 63 millimeters. And then I'll just use what I have. So 250 here, yeah, that's 63. I use this 3 degrees here, and I use this 35 here. So 35 and 250. So from the center here to the center of this circle over here is 250 millimeters. I know that this circle that was once here, which is if I just click on this, it'll bring it up. The radius of that circle is, here we're given a diameter, so it's just that 35 divided by 2. So literally I'll just type in 35 /2, and that'll give me 17 and a half. Next thing is you can kind of move these apart like how I'm doing, and it might help you eventually. That way it doesn't, like if I apply a dimension and things just like go crazy. Sometimes that'll happen if it hasn't happened to you already. The dimension though that I do get, not from the book, is this dimension here. So the dimension that gives us this point to this y-axis here, and that I know is not 24. I think it's, oh no, I'm sorry. This dimension here, this is 24. And this dimension, like I said, it's not in the book. So, like, I'm sorry, I really can't, like, remember how I got this 24, but I remember, like, back when I took the class, which was, like, 4.5 years ago, I remember being told that this 24 was correct. And I did get a good grade on the Radial Engine, so if you have, like, really big concerns about it, then I would go ahead and talk to Jim. But other than that, this last dimension should be 3 degrees. And my last constraint, let's see here, is, okay, I think it's that last dimension that I pulled. 88. So this 88 means from this edge here to that center, and that's 88. So that means from this point to this y-axis, that is 88 millimeters. And now my sketch is fully described, so I can finish it. I can extrude it. And according to the book, I want to extrude it symmetrically 21 millimeters, because I want the entire width of it to be 42. And I can go ahead and draw my next sketch. And my next sketch is going to be on the ZX plane. And it's going to be like that knife looking thing that's right here. So in order to get that, I'll start with my profile tool. I'll start it at this corner. I'll come maybe about to right there or so. And then I'm going to back out. And I'm going to use my arc tool. About right there. So get an arc about roughly looking like this. Oh, that's weird. And then I'll continue this line. But I want to continue it at an angle. I don't want to continue it straight because it's going to make, if I continue it straight and I click, it's going to make this horizontal constraint that this line has. So I want to like make it at an angle like this. And for whatever reason, it applied it anyway. So I'm just going to delete it and drag it down. Yeah, but right there is good. And I'm going to start from this here, original point, come down, and then I want to trim this piece and this piece. So now it's kind of like closed here. So the first thing I want to do is go into my constraints, make this arc and this line tangent to each other. I couldn't remember the name. And let's see. So I have that this arc here should be 78, should have a radius of 78. And I will also use this 2.5 here. So if I make a dimension that pretty much goes from this, an angular dimension, I'm sorry, that goes from this line to something that's horizontal, I can use this 2.5, but this 2.5 describes both sides here. So what I want is half of this 2.5. So it does have like a slight, like an ever so slight angle to it. This dimension here I know is going to be 9, and I know that from, this was also kind of like something that was kind of confusing, but I got it from this here. So I'm kind of assuming that this 18 is described at this corner here. That was another kind of issue with these drawings, and there's, as you know, many other issues that occur in the book as a total. And I believe this point here, let's see, yeah, so this point here where it starts curving is the same as that point here where I described the 88 in the last sketch. So what that means is I need to make some stuff coincident. So I need to make this point here and this point coincident. So it'll pretty much drag all this left. And once those are coincident, my sketch is fully constrained. I can finish it and I can extrude subtract from my bigger piece. This really doesn't matter, right? Because you're just subtracting. As long as you subtract from that main material, that's all that really matters. Next piece, I believe, was the sketch. Let's see, the sketch that was a little bit more difficult, and that's on the XY plane. So if you can hear like background noise, then I'm sorry, I think it's my roommate. But yeah, just, I guess, don't pay attention to it. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I use the circle tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make quite a few circles here. That one's like really small. I'm not worried about the size right now because I can change that later on. As long as you don't make inferred constraints like this one wants to make here, then that's fine. So all these outer circles are going to be the same, and all the inners should be the same. And by same, I mean same diameter. So I can go ahead and apply that with the constraint of equal radius. If I don't do automatic select, I can click one, go down to the other, and click the last two, I believe. I guess not. Who knows? As long as they're all equal, that's fine. Oh, there we go. Okay, so they're all equal. I think that was a bad idea to start with that circle. Okay, so as long as you have something like this, that should be fine. The next thing that I want to do is apply some constraints as far as the positioning of these circles here. So the circles, like the outer one and the inner one, they do share the same center position. So they are concentric essentially. So that is something that we'll need to take into consideration, or that's something that we needed for those circles. So here's pretty much the sketch with the dimensions. So I see I have a 55 here, 15, and a 43, and a 26. So I will first apply dimensions to these two circles here. So 43 and 15. I think I kind of messed up here. And then if I remember correctly, this was 55 here. And this was 26. Like, I want to do things too fast, and it's like not keeping up. So this center here, and this X. And that was 26. Okay, so if I do some, if I apply some symmetry, I can get everything to be constrained. But I'm going to add more stuff here in a while. But it'll help me get things aligned. So these two here, and I want them symmetric across the x-axis. And keep in mind that it'll select the same center line for you. So everything that I click from now on is going to be mirrored across or symmetric across the x-axis. So this center here and this center here, so now they automatically align. And my sketch is not constrained, and my two constraints that I'm missing are just the diameters of these here. This outer one, let's see, is 26. And the inner one I think is 10, yeah. Okay, So the sketch is fully constrained. I still have a few more things I need to do, and this is probably where it gets a little bit tricky. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just to like, kind of clean things up. I know these constraints are done, like I know what they are. I'm just gonna like kind of bring them into the center. That way they're not really in the way of anything else that I do. I know they're fine. I know they're set, and I know they're correct. So here's pretty much what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna make a number of circles on the outside. And I'm going to make a line from this point here to this point here. And then I also need a line from here to here and from here to here. So these lines are arbitrary, these two lines. And I'll also trim this because I won't need that. Okay, so now I'm going to use my constraints to kind of fix everything, and you'll see kind of how I do it. So I want this circle and this circle to be tangent, this circle and this circle, and pretty much I'm going to go all around and do the same thing to all these other circles. And you can probably already guess what I'm going to do, but if you don't, then what I'm going to do is pretty much trim a lot of this stuff. Now this part is pretty important because it can't just be I can't just use a tangent here. What I'm going to do is make some points coincident. So I want the end of this line here and this point here coincident. So now they're officially touching. So when I trim this, they will be officially touching here. And then I want to make this point here and this point coincident. And I pretty much have the piece that I want. So now I can just go ahead and trim a lot of stuff. Before I do that, though, I want to apply some dimensions here, and I only need one because I think it's like 5 of these have a diameter of 72, or I'm sorry, a radius of 72. But I have a diameter, so I want 72 times 2 if I'm describing a diameter. And I want to make all these equal to each other. And my sketch is fully constrained, and once I go ahead and trim a lot of this, it will still be fully constrained. But I have to be careful what I trim. So I don't want that, I don't want that. I do want these lines here. But what I'm going to do later on with them is pretty much just make them into reference lines. I don't want these here. I don't want this, 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 this. You can like draw through what you don't want. And let's see. And I don't want these inner pieces here. Let's see, and the only thing that's not constrained is okay. In the event that this happens to you, then you might need to zoom in to make sure that they're like actually connected, and I think they are, but the only thing is that they are not tangent here. So that one wasn't tangent, and that one wasn't tangent for whatever reason. Maybe I just like forgot about it, or somehow it got deleted. But make sure all these are tangent here, so you'll see like these little perpendicular lines here, and your sketch should be fully constrained. The last thing I need to do is make these two lines reference. That way they don't show up when I go and extrude this piece. And once you have that done, you can pretty much finish the sketch and you can extrude it to, let's see, so you'll start, I have like my notes here on the side. You'll start at a distance of 14 and you'll end at a distance of 21. And make sure to unite to this body here. hit OK, and you can start on your next sketch. So your next sketch will be on the XY plane. It's pretty much like that little trough thing. So just two circles. I'll start at the end here. I'm going to trim this inner piece here. I'm going to make these circles of equal radius, and let's see. 12. So they'll have a diameter of 12 due to this here. And then I'll just grab my other dimensions from it too. So I know the width of it is 150 and it's 30 millimeters from this center hole. So I have my center here. So I'm going to pick this center line and this center, and that's 30. And this center here and this center here, and that is 150. And because I drew on this kind of center line here, my sketch is fully constrained, so it goes along the x-axis. So if you didn't draw on this center line here, then you'll have to make sure that this center here, the center of this circle here, is a point on curve of this x-axis, and the same thing for this for the center of this circle here. So you can kind of like cut it in half. Like if this x were to run all the way through, it would be exactly half of this trough looking thing. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude this here. So in the center here, there's only 5 millimeters. And I want to extrude the last sketch here, so I can just select the sketch. So if I leave 5 millimeters in the middle here, where is it? Right here. Then, and I'm taking into consideration symmetry, then I will start at a distance of 2.5, and then I'll just kind of go until selected, and that'll be, I'll say, this face. So it's going to subtract all this material. Let's see if that even, I'm just going to select value, and it might give you a hard time if you select until extended, until selected, or until next. But yeah, so that cut's now done. Next thing you want to do is mirror these features that you created to the other side of this main piece here, that main first piece that we made. So I want to mirror this cut here. I think it's this extrude. Oh, there we go. Select feature. So this extrude, and this extrude. And I want to mirror it across the XY plane. And it's pretty much done. So now I can draw my other two circles here. So it does share the same diameter as this inner circle here. So in case it's not like prompting you to select it. So it's kind of like already wanting to match it there. In case it doesn't let you do that, you can just kind of click wherever, go into wireframe, and just drag it out until you hit there. And your sketch should be fully constrained. And there is a reason why I do them separate, like that bigger circle and then this circle that I'm going to do next, because they are a different, they are definitely a different, how you extrude them is different, I guess. The values of which you extrude them at is different. So sketch is fully constrained. I'm going to finish it. I'll extrude my first sketch, and I will extrude it 35 millimeters symmetrically. Make sure to reset this to start at 0. Or, well, not start at 0, that doesn't matter. I will unite. And then I'm going to hit apply. And then my next curve that I'm going to extrude is that second sketch here. I want to also symmetrically extrude it. And that will be of 21 millimeters. And unite it to this body. And then I'm going to hit OK, and from here I will start on my simple holes. And if you haven't figured this out yet, then when it prompts you to select a point, and you kind of click on the rim of whatever circle, like if you need to make a hole on a circle, on a cylindrical surface, you can select the rim of it, and it'll already place that hole there. So my depth limit is until next, and let's see, this hole will be 52 millimeters in diameter. Apply. Same thing here. And this one's going to be 24 millimeters. And until next. So it does go all the way through. And the final thing that you need to do is add some edge blends. So in case you were kind of confused why I didn't do this in the first place here, this here, it's easier in my opinion just to do edge blends. So this here, this radius here is 83. I hope I didn't mess that up. 72, 83. When I was drawing that other sketch. Okay, so one there, and then I'll go ahead and hit add new set, and my new set is going to be for this edge here, which is 35 radius. So I'll enter 35, and then I'll select the edges here, and if I can like turn this thing around here, and then I'll just go ahead and hit OK. And that's pretty much it. Let me double check this here. Yeah, okay. I did put 72, okay. That's pretty much it. As far as another thing that I didn't do on the other master rod that I first showed you at the very beginning of the video, what I didn't do is, or what I didn't have is a line. This random arbitrary line that comes out and it ends. I want to end it like right here. It doesn't really matter how long this line is, but oh, okay, I guess it That's kind of funny. It gave me a red because I put the end of this line at the center of this arc here. And so my sketch is fully constrained. That's kind of funny. So I want to leave that sketch there because when you... Actually, no, it's not going to matter. Sorry. So when you're making your other pieces, which are these pieces, it'll be a good idea to make a line that goes just across, just a sketch, just like how I did here. And I say that because when you look at it from a top, when you look at the radial engine from a top, and you're putting those other pieces, these pieces, here, that line can be used to give you an angle to like help you reference when you assemble it. So I'm like having a hard time thinking of words, thinking of the right words to say. But if you have this line here, it'll definitely help you out in assembling it, and I think even this line that I drew here will help you out too. So I would really consider doing that if you haven't. So I think that's pretty much it. So once you have it done, you can pretty much hide all the sketches and hide all the lines. That way it looks nice and gray and simple, and it's taking forever to load up. Okay. And that's basically it. So thanks for watching. Sorry this video was a little bit longer than I had hoped, but thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next video, and good luck.